This is the brand new Z Flip 7, and just like the Z Fold 7, Samsung is attempting to claim back the position of having the best foldable phones. So is this the best flip phone out there? Well, that's what we're going to be finding out in today's Day in the Life. It's currently 8:55, aperture percentage is now at 100%. Let's get into this Day in the Life. Alright, so it's now 10:25, aperture percentage is now 91%. Now let's talk about the displays on the Z Flip 7. So first off, we have the cover display, which has been upgraded quite significantly. It's now much bigger at 4.1 inches, and now has a 120Hz refresh rate, and it also has a peak brightness of 2600 nits. It makes looking at your notifications and content, and also taking photos on the cover screen much more easier. And this was a much needed upgrade, seeing that other competitors like the Razer had already gone for this approach. Now on the inside, the display has gone up to 6.9 inches, so a little bit more larger, but also a little bit more wider, which makes it a bit more comfortable to use. They've also managed to make the crease less noticeable. You can still kind of see it from different angles, but when you're actually running your finger through the display, it doesn't feel that noticeable as it did on the last generations. And as you would expect from a high-end display, you're getting LTPO, 120Hz refresh rates, and 2600 nits of peak brightness, just like the cover display. So altogether, the displays on the Z Flip 7 are much improved, much better, and have pretty much the exact same features that you would expect from a normal flagship phone. So altogether, the displays on the Z Flip 7 deserve an A grade. Now it's time to head off to uni, so let's get going.
I watch my work. We got the sound system working. What's happening? At my age.
Alright, so we just wrapped up the meeting. It's now 12:08. Battery percentage is now 77%. Now let me tell you about my backpack that I've been using, which is from PGYTech. It's called the OneGo 2, and it's honestly the best backpack I've ever used. The OneGo 2 is a professional photo and video backpack with a sleek, stylish design that looks awesome while being practical, making it perfect for everyday travel and work. It only weighs 1.38 kgs for the 20-liter version and has an ergonomic design with a supportive and breathable back combined with thick shoulder straps. A feature that has been a game changer for me is the quick access from the top and the 180 clamshell design that allows me to access all my gear super easily. Combine that with a modular divider system, and you've got heaps of versatile storage options for any type of day. It fits everything I need: camera gear, my lunch, extra video equipment, and my MacBook. There's also pockets for my tripod, water bottle, and a dedicated strap for my camera clip, which is also from PGYTech. This is honestly the best backpack I've ever used, and if you want to check it out for yourself, make sure to check the link in my description. Thank you once again to PGYTech for sending this out, and now time to get some lunch.
I just want to play League. Sometimes I'm like, guys, I'm lagging. I request Cam.
Alright, just had lunch, now 1:43, aperture percentage is now at 72%. And let's talk about the cameras on the Z Flip 7. So the cameras haven't really changed since the last generation, so it's just the same 50 megapixel and 12 megapixel main wide and ultra wide camera, along with a 10 megapixel selfie camera. Now the best part about the flip phone is that you can actually take photos using the main camera like a selfie, which is one of the best benefits of this phone. But anyway, let's take a few photos. I've got my friend Joe here, so let's take a few shots. Starting off with the main camera, photos look great with sharp details, great dynamic range, and colors. There's a little depth of field effect, which is nice, and 2x crops also look great as well. In darker environments, photos do look a little softer, but overall still look sharp. On the ultra-wide camera, we get some great sharpness, maybe a little too much sharpness, and good dynamic range. But in lower lighting, the quality degrades quite a bit. The inner selfie camera is alright, but to be honest, you're probably going to be using the main cameras to take selfies with the cover display, which looks far better. So just like the Z Fold 7, you can use the cover display as a vlogging screen. So it's pretty good for vlogging, so you can see yourself while you're walking around. And honestly, the video quality is pretty good. You can shoot up to 4K 60, and everything looks pretty nice and stable with optical image stabilization. And this is what it looks like on the ultra-wide lens. Honestly, not the greatest. The ultra-wide camera on here isn't that great, but it's decent enough for most good lighting scenarios. So altogether, the cameras on the Z Flip 7 are decent. They're not amazing or flagship worthy, I would say, but they're pretty good for most scenarios that you're going to be taking photos in. And honestly, with the ability to shoot from the cover screen, it's a game changer for most people who want to take high quality selfies. But other than that, In reality, the camera system here only deserves a B grade. It's definitely not flagship worthy, but it's decent enough for most people. Anyways, I think I'm gonna head off to class soon, so let's get going.
Bad. Yeah. I think.
Alright, so finish up with my class. It's now 4:29. Our vector percentage is now at 57%. Now let's talk about the performance on the Z Flip 7. The Z Flip 7 is equipped with the Exynos 2500, which is a bit of a strange chipset because this was actually meant to launch with the S25s. And 6 months later, we're finding it on the Z Flip 7. This is also unusual because all the previous flip phones have come with a Snapdragon chipset instead of an Exynos chipset, so it's a bit weird that they put it in the Z Flip 7. Regardless, performance has been very smooth and optimized. It comes with 12GB RAM and UFS 4.0 storage speed, so apps launch quickly and multitasking is smooth. Performance here is flagship worthy, but there's a couple things where the Exynos and also the form factor of the flip phones really do suffer, which is in heat management. The Z Flip 7 does get pretty warm under heavy load, especially if you are using the cameras a lot, doing heavy multitasking, gaming or video calling. You start to notice that the Z Flip 7 does get pretty warm, and honestly this is the only downside of this chipset. Everything else has been very fast, very fluid and smooth as you would expect from a flagship phone. So altogether the performance on the Z Flip 7 deserves an A grade. Now it's time to head back up to the other campus and we're gonna do a bit of a study before heading off for dinner. Let's get going now. What's up? Look at these
You on
tote bag. Is this a certified performance male?
It's getting there, see? Baggy pants.
No,
I don't wear. I don't wear
pretty skinny.
pants.
You own 3+ beanies.
Beanies? Do you own any beanies? I've
You
never
only
seen
want to
Kenny.
be-
I want to own beanies, but
He wants to own
So he
them.
wants to be more performative.
He wants to be more.
You're in Thailand, like literally at church, bitch was like,
Hey gang. Bye bye. Okay, so we just had dinner. It's now 6:33. Our battery percentage is now 44%. Let's talk about the feature, design, and the software of the Z Flip 7. Starting over the design, the Z Flip 7 is much more thinner, lighter, and also wider, which makes it a better practice overall. Just easier to handle, easier to use, and just more practical overall. It doesn't feel too different from a normal bar phone, which is great when it's opened, and when it's closed, it doesn't feel too fit. Now, there's one thing that's super annoying about the Z Flip 7, which is that it's pretty much impossible to open it with just one hand. You really can't open it with just one hand. You have to use two hands, which is okay if the cover screen is useful enough. Which I think it's almost there, but not quite there. You can add any app that you want that's installed on the phone using Good Lock, but it doesn't mean it's optimized. Most of these apps do function pretty weirdly, but if you do use the apps that are supported, then they work really well, like Messages and Maps. Super useful for just quickly checking a message, quickly replying, or looking at the maps while you're on the go. It also has One UI 8, which is Android 60. The first ones have Android 60 from Samsung are both the Z Flip 7 and the Z Flip 7, so that's great to see. Altogether, it's a great package, comes with a premium design. They've really nailed down a lot of these flip functions on the software side. So altogether, the software, features, and design deserve an A to the A+ grade. So pretty good stuff from the Z Flip 7. So now, time to head home. Let's get going. Alright, so we're now back home. It's now 8:51 and our battery percentage is now at 22%. So let's take a look at the battery performance of the Z Flip 7 to see how it did during the day. And at 22%, we've had a screen on time of about 4 hours and 20 minutes. And altogether, this is pretty alright. This is not the greatest. It's not quite flagship grade level, but for a flippable phone, it's actually pretty decent. Do keep in mind that the screen on time does include cover display usage. So if you are using the cover display more than the inner display, obviously they will take up less battery power, as the smaller display does take up less power than the inner display. But for a flipping phone that only has a 4300 mAh battery cell, pretty alright. Now let's wrap up my thoughts about the Z Flip 7. Samsung has really nailed down the flipping experience, and honestly, if you are looking for the best flip phone, then the Z Flip 7 is a top recommendation. Altogether, the Z Flip 7 gets an 82 out of 100 on A- grade. It is expensive, and if you're looking for a better camera, performance, and battery life experience, then you should just go with a regular phone. But if you want something that can flip, it has an interesting cover display that is decently useful and also is a lot more compact when you fold it down, then the Z Flip 7 is the best option to go for. Alright, I'm Upwards. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next video.